Did you know that Portugal, a nation famous for its explorers and seafaring legacy, owes its independence to a young nobleman with a daring dream? What if I told you that this man, Henry of Burgundy, had no idea he'd set the wheels in motion for an independent kingdom? Stick around, because this story will blow your mind. The history of Portugal's independence is one of ambition, strategy, and resilience. And at the heart of it all is Henry of Burgundy, the Count of Portugal. This isn't just a tale about battles or politics. It's about a man who laid the cornerstone of a nation that would one day rule the seas. Henry's journey, from a young nobleman in France to the architect of Portuguese independence, is full of intrigue, challenges, and a relentless drive for autonomy. In this video, we're diving deep into the story of how one man's vision became the foundation of an entire country. Before we dive into Henry's story, let's set the stage. In the 11th century, the Iberian Peninsula was a patchwork of warring kingdoms and territories. The Reconquista, the centuries-long struggle to reclaim the peninsula from Moorish control, dominated the political landscape. Portugal, as we know it today, didn't exist. Instead, the region was a part of the Kingdom of Leon and Castile. Often treated as a backwater territory, the County of Portucale, located in the northwestern corner of the peninsula, was a strategic but overlooked area. It had fertile lands and access to the Atlantic, making it valuable for trade and agriculture. However, it was also vulnerable to attacks from both Moorish forces in the south and rival Christian kingdoms. Amid this chaos, the Kingdom of Leon sought help from European nobility to strengthen its hold on these contested territories. This is where our protagonist, Henry of Burgundy, enters the picture. Born into a noble family in France, Henry was part of a younger generation of knights looking for land, titles, and adventure. The Crusades were in full swing, and the promise of glory and wealth drew many young nobles southward. In 1096, Henry joined the court of King Afonso VI of Leon, marrying Alfonso's illegitimate daughter, Teresa. As part of the marriage agreement, Henry was granted control over the County of Portugal. Little did anyone know that this union would sow the seeds of an independent Portugal. Henry's arrival in Portugal marked the beginning of a transformative era. He quickly realized the potential of the region, not just as a frontier territory, but as a land that could thrive independently. His first challenge was consolidating power. The local nobility was divided, and Moorish incursions were a constant threat. Henry's military prowess came into play as he led campaigns to secure the borders, building alliances with other Christian leaders while keeping an eye on his ultimate goal, autonomy. Under Henry's leadership, Portugal began to flourish. He invested in fortifications, promoted agriculture, and encouraged the settlement of new villages. But Henry wasn't just a warrior, he was a strategist. He understood that political alliances were as crucial as military victories. Through careful diplomacy, he managed to assert more control over his territory while maintaining a delicate relationship with the Leonese crown. One of Henry's most significant achievements was fostering a distinct identity for the people of Portugal. By promoting local governance and culture, he laid the groundwork for what would later become a uniquely Portuguese identity. The people began to see themselves not just as subjects of Leon, but as part of something greater. Henry's ambitions, however, didn't go unnoticed. His growing influence made him a target of suspicion at the Leonese court. King Afonso VI, though initially supportive, began to see Henry's actions as a threat to his authority. Tensions grew, and Henry had to navigate the treacherous waters of medieval politics carefully. To solidify his power, Henry established a network of alliances with neighboring Christian kingdoms and influential nobles. He recognized the importance of trade and worked to enhance Portugal's economic standing by encouraging commerce through the region's ports. This not only brought wealth, but also strengthened his position as a leader capable of providing prosperity and security. Henry's relationship with his wife Teresa was also pivotal. As a capable and ambitious woman, Teresa played a significant role in governing the county alongside her husband. Together, they worked to fortify their position and instill a sense of unity among the people. Teresa's influence would prove invaluable after Henry's death, as she continued his mission to establish a strong and autonomous Portugal. Despite his efforts, Henry faced numerous setbacks. The ongoing Reconquista meant constant pressure from Moorish forces in the south, requiring Henry to divert resources and attention to defending the borders. Internal conflicts among the nobility added further challenges, as some resisted his attempts to centralize power. Yet through it all, Henry's determination never wavered. One of the defining moments of Henry's leadership came when he initiated reforms to strengthen the county's governance. These included improving tax collection systems, establishing a more organized military structure, and promoting justice through local courts. These measures not only stabilized Portugal, but also laid the administrative foundations for a future independent kingdom. Henry also sought to build a sense of unity among the people by championing religious institutions. He established and supported monasteries that not only served as spiritual centers, but also acted as hubs of education and administration. This fostered a shared cultural and religious identity that further unified the population under his leadership. His vision extended beyond his lifetime. Henry actively prepared his son, Afonso Henriques, to carry forward his mission. Afonso's upbringing was deeply influenced by his father's ideals and leadership style, ensuring that the foundation Henry laid would be in capable hands. Henry often involved Afonso in matters of governance, exposing him to the challenges and responsibilities of leadership from an early age. Henry's impact wasn't limited to governance and military strategies. He fostered a cultural renaissance within Portugal, encouraging the arts and architecture to flourish. Under his guidance, churches and castles were built, not just as fortifications, but as symbols of a growing and confident society. These landmarks became physical manifestations of Portugal's identity, inspiring pride and unity among its inhabitants. Furthermore, Henry sought to strengthen ties with the church, securing papal support that legitimized his rule. This alliance with the church provided him with a moral authority that bolstered his leadership and ensured the loyalty of the deeply religious population. The papal endorsement also helped deter potential threats from rival kingdoms, as attacking a territory under the church's favor risked severe consequences. By the time of Henry's death in 1112, Portugal had transformed from a marginal county into a thriving, semi-autonomous region with a strong sense of identity and purpose. This transformation was no accident. It was the result of Henry's relentless efforts to create a legacy that would endure. His contributions were instrumental in setting the stage for what would eventually become the Kingdom of Portugal. Henry's journey was far from smooth. He faced opposition from multiple fronts: the Moorish forces to the south, rival Christian nobles, and even his own allies. The local nobility in Portugal often resisted his efforts to centralize power, preferring their own feudal autonomy. These internal power struggles sometimes escalated into open conflict, forcing Henry to use both diplomacy and force to maintain control. Nobles who felt threatened by his reforms would often conspire against him, creating a web of intrigue that tested his political acumen. The Moorish forces, meanwhile, were a relentless threat. Frequent raids and skirmishes drained the county's resources, making it difficult to focus on development and governance. Henry's military campaigns, though successful in pushing back these incursions, came at a high cost. Soldiers were stretched thin, and the constant state of war took a toll on the morale of the population. Relations with the Kingdom of Leon were another significant source of conflict. While Henry owed nominal allegiance to King Afonso VI, the balance of power was always precarious. Alfonso's court was rife with rival factions, and Henry often found himself navigating a dangerous political landscape. Accusations of overreach and ambition made Henry a target of suspicion, forcing him to defend his actions and intentions at every turn. Even within his own household, challenges arose. His marriage to Teresa, while politically advantageous, was not without its tensions. As a strong-willed and ambitious woman, Teresa sometimes clashed with Henry over matters of governance. These disagreements, while not uncommon in medieval noble households, added another layer of complexity to Henry's rule. Despite these obstacles, Henry's resilience and determination never faltered. He relied on a trusted circle of advisors and allies to help him navigate these challenges. His ability to adapt and respond to crises, whether on the battlefield or in the court, was a testament to his leadership. Though the odds were often stacked against him, Henry's vision for a strong and autonomous Portugal remained unwavering. Henry's death in 1112 marked the end of an era, but his work was far from undone. His widow, Teresa, took over the administration of Portugal, continuing Henry's policies. More importantly, his son, Afonso Henriques, inherited his father's vision and determination. Afonso would go on to declare independence from Leon and establish Portugal as a sovereign kingdom in 1143. Henry's contributions might have been overshadowed by his son's achievements, but they were no less critical. He was the one who built the foundation, uniting the people, securing the borders, and fostering a sense of identity. Without Henry's groundwork, Afonso's success would have been unimaginable. Henry of Burgundy's story is one of vision and perseverance. He saw potential in a land that others dismissed and dared to dream of something greater. His legacy is a reminder that even the smallest beginnings can lead to monumental change. Portugal's independence may have been realized by his son, but it was Henry who planted the seeds. Today, his name may not be as celebrated as other historical figures, but his impact is undeniable. Want to learn more about Portugal's incredible history? Dive into our other videos on the Reconquista and the rise of the Portuguese Empire. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know which historical events you want us to explore next.